Welcome back to Making Money Matter, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Kerry Stevenson, and got Tony Locantro. Tony, Truth Bomb Tony, I guess we could call him. We could call him lots of things, but I saw Tony just last week. We both attended the annual Explorers Conference down in Fremantle over in Western Australia, which is where Tony's from. He's from Perth, so it was an easy one for him. I flew across, and I've got to say it was a terrific conference, very busy, over 150 companies. So clearly, I don't know how many you saw, Tony, but I tried to see a number of them, but there was no way you could get to see all of those companies. But shout out to Stuart McDonald, Jackson Crabb, Charm, and the whole team. They did a cracking job. What did you think?
Oh, it was great. And the way I look at it, it was probably the best 2 days of networking I've had in years.
Wow.
It was funny. I actually went up to some people and I said, "G'day," shook their hand, and they didn't know who the hell I was. And and anyway, that was good to get that. That was good to get that feedback. And there was a little bit of snigger behind my back as to where's all my weight gone and where's the old Tony Locantro gone. So that was good. The event was pumping, that booth area. But Kerry, the male pattern baldness index is still high. So that's basically the proportion of men with baldness. I've gone completely shaved look. That ratio is still high. So the retail excitement around gold, silver, and copper is nowhere to be seen. And there were no strippers at the events. Lots of the media, ladies, lots of media, but I don't think the retail investor is anywhere near this at the moment. So that's possibly a good sign. And what I did, I walked around, I spoke to a lot of people, I saw the interactions at the booths. I came away with the stocks I really like, and I've been relaying them to clients pretty frantically, actually. I've just opened up my client base to Zooms. I've done 10 today. So I'm just running through clients' portfolios, saying this is who I met at the conference. This is who is worth a look. There's a lot of success around that conference with some of the prices. I see Tony Azua won the Craig Oliver Award.
Yeah, well done, Tony Rivera. Great job.
I mean, there's a picture of him next to persistence in the dictionary, because I know that he's toiled for years and he's done it. It's just good to catch up with people I haven't seen for a while. Obviously, COVID has that impact. Plenty of good freebies this year. There were the multi-phone charges, the odd stress ball.
Didn't see any freebies.
Oh, Kerry, you actually got to go up to the booth. It's like a mouse trap, isn't it? And then lots of opportunities to get spammed, and you win a bottle of spirits. I'd re-gift anyway, but
actually, sorry, big bad me. I actually won the Como Engineering liter bottle of vodka with gold flakes in it, and there was a competition to say where was there. They built a plant, and it was like, where in the world, and there was a picture of a world map, and you had to guess where the plant was built, and I guessed right. So I was pretty darn happy about that, especially, and I'm just bringing it up. Here we go. I don't know whether you can see this, but I think you can. Whoop, there we go.
Oh, yep.
And where that finger is pointing is Queensland, which is where I live.
Oh, there you go.
It's kind of a guesstimate, but I won the liter bottle of vodka with gold flake. Now, how appropriate for me to win a bottle of vodka with gold flakes in it. Thank you very much, Como Engineering.
There you go. Well, it's all a case of what you mix it with. But awesome, Kerry. So yeah, it was just a fantastic event. I was exhausted by the end of it. That much walking, talking. I had my stepometer on me. And it was good because you'd get lost in the booths, and then you just walk around and meet some more people. And I think I actually bumped into Stewie at his local shopping centre on the weekend. And he was talking about, well, this is an iconic venue. It's got everything going for it. It's got the bar situation. So I don't see any reason why they'd leave, even though it's getting hugely popular. And once some share prices of gold and silver, copper companies go up, we'll see that final injection of youth followed by the dumb money. So, it was awesome. And I love conferences, and I'm going to get out and get to more of them, because it's good to eyeball the management teams, to work out who's telling you that they caught bigger fish, and to catch up. I mean, I spent a lot of time with the red metal booth. Rob Rutherford, stocks doubled, probably more to go. And we've bought 13% of the company. So what's happened, Kerry, is we've got that confidence lift now. So it's a confidence lift, because clients can see that fundamentals actually matter, like making money matter. It matters. Once a stock starts to run, I had another one of my dog stocks today, Farmos, pun intended, has had a massive run, and it's one that I raised money cheaper. I got people chase me around social media and put shit on me because the stock doesn't move. Well, now it's moved, and we are in a position to start strengthening clients' portfolios and keeping everyone mentally sane. So look, this is a classic example. I'll just move on from the conference. I've got a client who's a farmer. He's a top bloke, loves the punt, loves the drink. And a few weeks ago, he said, I'm done. I'm finished. I hate this market. Now he's shared a Saturday lotto win on one stock, and then suddenly, he's got stress. So people that have given up, had enough, chucked the towel in, suddenly a stock goes up, and you've got to make a decision. So the moral of the story in small cap stocks is to just keep swinging, and you're not going to hit a home run if you're not at the plate. And I have a saying, the market is a collective of people with no fucking idea what they're doing. And that makes a market, guys. But the smarter people then get discouraged by the dumb people. And, you could call a combination of market participants, let's use a bad term, we'll call it a clusterfuck. So anyway, that's my view. And that's the psychology of the market that I'm dealing with. And I've been dealing with it for 26 years. And that's what I am. I'm a psychiatrist, because humans are wired to buy high and sell low. We're wired to buy pictures of fucking bored apes at the top and then sell them for nothing. It's funny because every bubble is a new paradigm. It's just awesome, isn't it? It's the best game in town, Kerry.
Best game in town until you start to lose too much.
Excuse me, I have to cough.
That's all right.
It's a bit of a tickle in the throat. So anyway, where Locantro's back. That's it. End of story.
Now you're making me cough. I love our chats, Tony. Are you calling the bottom?
Bottom in what?
The market. You just said Tony's back. Stocks are starting to.
Would I call the bottom in lithium? I'd probably have a dead cat.
Dead cat in what?
Dead cat bounce, because some lithium stocks will bounce. Because one more cough. You know what? I should have a glass of water when I do these.
Do you want to walk away and get a glass of water and walk back, and I can chat while you're all getting the glass of water?
No, Kerry, because I'm not wearing pants. Come on, do you think I'm wearing a full suit? Come on.
Oh, truth bomb, Tony. The truth always comes out, doesn't it? Where's Juliana when you need her? Why can't the chimp walk out and get you some water? Do you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you got to have a laugh sometimes in these markets and these times, because sometimes everyone's so darn serious. We're not doing brain surgery. We're not saving lives. What we are doing is having a bit of a yarn about what we see in the markets. Now, one of the things Tony said a moment ago was music to my ears. 3 actual commodities that I really like a lot that have been, I guess, in a little bit of the doldrums, still are to a certain extent. Copper. You can't build EVs without copper. You can't put fiber to the node without copper. You can't build buildings without copper. Copper is an essential commodity across so many different platforms. And, for me, I'm known as that gold lady. Why? Because gold is money. Everything else is credit. And silver silver is the unloved cousin, but I'm telling you, silver is looking pretty interesting. Those are the three commodities that Tony's just mentioned. I'm going to throw a fourth one in, and that's nickel, because I recently was speaking to Rick Rule. Check out the channel. You'll see my conversation with him. Rick is very bullish on nickel, and we are going to do a deep dive into the nickel industry in a couple of weeks' time. We've already done uranium with Rick. I've done a deep dive into uranium. And what he said there, Tony, was he said the easy money's been made. And he's a contrarian investor, and he says, now it's all about nickel. So you said gold, silver, copper. Is there a specific reasoning for that? Is that because it's just been overlooked, do you think?
That's where the best value lies.
Okay.
I sent out, I'm not going to name this stock for the benefit of my clients because we're still buying. But there's some gold stocks capped at under $20 per quality resource ounce in the ground, Kerry.
Yeah.
The likes of Ramilius and other major predators have paid over $100 per decent resource ounce of the ground. So the takeover valuations on these is insane. So I see huge value in Tim Mason from Eagle Mountain was there.
Yeah, I didn't see Tim. That was a shame.
Yeah, you're saying that Charlie Bass has tipped in like $16 million into that. And he's there supporting the rights issue he's doing. He's got 28 million tons of copper in Arizona. And the stock, because I did a cap raise for him at 13 cents and the bugger 10 bag, but it did it in 11 months. So some clients were hoping for the full discount CGT and it collapsed thereafter. So I think that that's a company that with the right backing, they are doing a 6 cent rights issue at the moment. And if you're looking at nickel, another absolutely beaten up company. Oh, beyond beaten up, Staveley.
Oh,
so what a schmozzle that has become since again getting to about $1.40. But Chris Cairns was there. His talk was all about the death of nickel is exaggerated. So, and he has that Hawkstone target. The government have thrown 220 grand at him to drill a diamond hole, and he still has the copper. And if you're, I know Rick Rule likes hate, but if you're buying hate, Chris Cairns and Staveley, you know, it's like they're like the Nickelback of, oh, pun intended, they're like the Nickelback of mining stocks. I mean, because everyone hates Nickelback. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening, Kerry. And you can buy these hated companies. They've got, everyone thinks, oh, shit, they're going to have to raise some money. Yeah, maybe. But when do you go in? When do you pull the trigger? But you look at copper, you look at nickel, fair enough. Hawkstone might be a Hail Mary for Chris and the team, but at least he's going to have a crack. So nickel-wise, it's not my strongest area. I admit that. I don't see the value. I think it's more an exploration because we've had all these mines closed, like Twiggy's Wailu. Well, they took over Mincor, shut it down. BHP, shut it all down. Panoramic, off to administration heaven. It's been largely decimated. So
yeah, and that's where, as investors, you've got to be very careful because things can go into administration, and that's it. You're done.
Yeah. So look, my nickel experience only. I mean, I helped float Independence Group, friggin' hell, 22 years ago. Can you believe? And Chris Bonwick bought the Long Nickel Mine for $15 million after he heard about it at a barbecue. And then Independence became that company.
Yeah.
And now they've, even though we floated it at 20 cents, they've had some savage write-downs as well with their nickel. So there's a tale of woe. The government now are giving concessions, tax breaks, et cetera. So if Rick Rule can identify some of the absolute toilet stocks in the sector that will bounce, he's going to do exceptionally well. And let's face it, Rick's ruthless. And you can see that. He's like the smiling assassin.
Well, yes and no, but also I think what Rick does is he does his research. He does his, he makes sure he understands what's going on in the company. And a lot of investors out there want the quick win. They don't have the patience, and they don't do the research. They don't look at the quarterlies. They don't understand who the management are. They just talk to the barbecue mafia and say, I'm going to this stock. Well, why are you going to that stock? Well, because Tony told me. No, I'm just kidding, Tony, but you know what I mean? And that's what they do without doing their own research. And, it's always buyer beware, isn't it? And in the small caps market, in the micro cap market, yes, you can make a heck of a lot of money, but you can also, you can back the wrong horse and be like your farmer and be all despondent and say, I'm out. Well, kind of like me. I just went, I'm done recently. So
it wears you down. And it's funny what low prices do to people, because they go on, they'll find solace in a website forum such as Hot Copper, and then they'll become part of it's like a religious cult. And I have a saying that bandwagon stocks are like Scientology. It's easy to join up, but good luck trying to leave. And that's how it is, because you do seek comfort in the group setting, but I think the key to succeeding really is to be a lone wolf. And that's exactly what Rick Rule is. Rick Rule is your classic contrarian. When I'm running with the bulls, normally we're selling. So my idea is to pick up the hated stock, Rick Rule style, raise a heap of money for the company, and wait until others catch on. But I think one of the strongest emotions is FOMO. One of my other stocks, Mako Gold's trading under a cent. Then the trading gangs get onto it. It goes to 3.2, whilst a rights issue is underway. A 1 cent SPP is underway. So these trading gangs, these traders do not read announcements.
No.
And it's FOMO. And there was a period there a few years ago where Australian listed stocks, some of them increased 10 times in one day.
Shit.
So it's funny. Clients will start to say, well, what about the recession? What about unemployment? What about cost of living? Is that going to affect speculative stocks? Hell no. I think the worst times outside of trading, I think it's going to encourage more trading. It's like COVID. Look at all the sudden experts traders that developed during COVID. The market got poleaxed and then it was V-shaped. So I think
true. Yeah. Forgot about that.
And you've got to understand that a lot of these traders, they just settle at the end of the day. They will just keep churning over stock. And as long as, so I don't see that as being an impact. But low prices really affect the psyche of good people. Because I know I've done over 20 Zooms now with my clients. And some of them are a bit frosty because they buy a stock and it drops and then they give up. And then suddenly a stock starts to run and then they don't know what to do. And then they'll say, well, what about all these other stocks? And I'll say, well, look, we've had the shittiest 2 years of my career, but these companies still have potential. And then they'll say, well, okay, even if that triples from here, I'm still underwater. True, but it benefits you because the only thing that matters is your valuation figure. If you have 22 players and 10 perform well, that's enough. So look, the psychology of the last 2 years for a lot of small cap investors, it's wiped them out mentally. And even my toughest, most out there clients have almost given up, and then suddenly they're friggin' first division lotto winners. It's just, that's how quickly things can turn around. So
it's interesting because it is the psychology of the markets, because at the end of the day, we also know that in this world that we live in, which is full of, like, everything you and I right now talking on Zoom, that's electronics, that needs mining, all of this new green revolution, the wind farms, the solar farms, the uranium market, the nuclear reactors going off, the amount of buildings. I mean, I live here on the Gold Coast, the amount of construction that's going on. And when people turn around to me and say the property market's going to collapse, and I know you've said this in the past as well, but we've had an unusual amount of immigration into Australia. We cannot there are not enough houses being built to house all the people that, like, I can tell you now, everyone needs a roof over their head. And we do not have enough houses to be able to put a roof over everybody's head. It's why rental markets are going up. So I don't see a collapse in the market anytime soon. I'm actually going to get a friend of mine on, Graham Holmes, soon, and we're going to talk about that because he's got a view. And in fact, Tony, just last night, place I was renting, they bought it for $750 in 2021, which is when I moved up here. I could have bought it, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It just was on the market for 1.25. Somebody bought it for 1.5. Now, did they overpay for it? I personally think they did, because I think there's better options, but there's that craziness on at the moment. But I don't think there's going to be.
That's just outright fucking stupidity. And the seller has done an amazing job, because you can have all the narratives you like, right? You can have all the narratives, but now they're looking at doing social housing in Pearce Street on Perth, for Christ's sake. So now social housing is going to move into the affluent areas. It's like the friggin' Hungry Jacks at Claremont. Do you think people that live in Claremont want a friggin' Hungry Jacks there? Hell no. Hell no. They you know, think about
if you're hungry, yeah, go on.
Think about it. It doesn't matter. This is just it's like lithium on another planet. It's like, let's go drill for friggin' kryptonite on the moon. It's the final stages of stupidity. And a lot of people I know in construction are saying, well, they're struggling because the price of a doorknob was $38, now it's $60. That's what's happening. A lot of the building companies are going under. A lot of the ones that like to look beautiful and go on social media, they're all going under. Everything boutique is going under. And it's just house prices in Perth. I suggested the switch between Sydney and Perth. I still live by that, but unfortunately, a lot of the good stuff around Perth is starting to get snapped up. So I think the money flow will move from Sydney, Melbourne to Perth. Last time, the money went to Hobart and Adelaide. So I don't buy this forever higher for longer bullshit. Like I didn't buy rates lower for longer. There was a lot of comments saying interest rates will never rise in our lifetime. Well, fuck me. Look what happened.
Well, all I do
is rises, Kerry. 13.
Listen, mate, I'm part of a group where Doc Wilson talks, and all Doc Wilson hasn't got an agenda. He's independent, and he just shows the data. And he shows the data over many, many years. And yes, there have been pullbacks in the Australian market, 4% here, 4% there. But after every pullback, there's not another moonshot, but it's just data. So we're just looking at the data and looking at the immigration, and the current government has opened up the borders. We can't keep up with demand. So I can't see it collapsing anytime soon. Bottle of Verve on it. Who won the bottle of Verve last time? I think you did, didn't you?
I did. And guess what that was based on? Interest rates going to 0.5%.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's structure a bet. And we'll have a bottle of something, because I don't drink anymore, but I have got some alcohol here. So, but it's interesting times, because when it's like the .com bubble, Kerry, for many, it felt like it'd gone forever. One day I felt sick and I thought, nah, this is a crock of shit. And then bang, it's gone. It's like every bubble since. And a lot of it's bought on leverage. So I think, it's going to end. It will end. It's gone on far too long. It's like cue the Benny Hill music to a lot of what we're seeing. And Bondi is a great area, but would I pay $3 million for a dilapidated villa? No, I wouldn't.
Well, it'll be interesting. I'll get Graham to get back on here in a few weeks' time, and I'll get him to watch this commentary, and he can make a comment on it, because he's much more qualified to talk about it than I am. Tony, let's get back into commodities. I just want to talk about that before we finish up. And the reason I want to talk about that is really to ask you this. I think I said it before. The need for commodities, in my opinion, as the world continues to grow and more people, etc., it's still there. What do you think is going to be the trigger that turns the small cap market around?
that's just going to be I think what we need is a big discovery, and maybe some M&A, because look, all these themes about population, EV's starting to get the wobbles. Toyota and that are still going to back conventional engines.
Yeah.
You look at the fields you look at all the Chinese used EVs, they can't sell, like they're putting BYDs out in the forest.
Wow.
So and they did a test between a petrol car, electric car. I think it was Sydney to Adelaide or something, and the petrol won. So I think that's going to take some time, and the market's now going for hybrid. So you're still going to have all the commodities. But what you're going to understand is the trend of usage generally increases, but it's all supply, demand, levels of growth, levels of construction. But you can still lose your money and all the money you borrowed in commodities if you pick a shit stock. So if you jagged something like uranium in 2005, you bought stocks that went 100 to 300 times.
Yep.
Is the market going to get excited about copper to that extent? Hell no. The market would rather get excited about something that ends in IUM. And let's, as I said, let's just have a good old fashioned gold and silver stock bubble, and may the best traders win. And that's it. Buy quality companies, buy decent grade in safe places, and then just wait. There was a plethora of companies from that conference. Seek them out, watch them online, and you'll find them. I've found, I believe, a few winners. One I won't mention because I've got to get my clients set. And there are other stocks that have been downtrodden, but it only takes one, and it's like battle stations. But oh geez, I'm having some fun at the moment. I haven't been this busy in years. And I think what I wanted to make clear for my case was when rock meets bottom, Kerry, was when December, I worked the whole month, went into work. I actually had to pay my firm to work there. My pay was negative $132. That's how quiet the market was. That's how quiet it was. And that was the bottom, because now I am back big time. I am flooded with inquiries. If anyone wants my views, TonyLocantro.com. I've understated, over-delivered on that email list. So take it or leave it.
So we'll leave it at that. Tony Locantro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check it out. And he has been awesome as always. But ladies and gentlemen, the other thing I'll let you know is Tony will be at the Australian Gold Conference this year. And so if you'd like to come along, Tony's mentioned gold and silver. We'll have both commodities at the Australian Gold Conference, which will be at Crown Barangaroo from the 26th to the 28th of August. Everything's on the website, goldevents.com.au. Plus, if you look on our website in the next day or so, you can also stay at Crown Barangaroo for a ridiculous price. It's normally over $1,000 to stay there. That's where Taylor Swift is staying, and whatever the boyfriend's name is. That's where they're staying at the moment. But we've got a fantastic conference delegate rate for Crown. We're going to have a terrific conference. I'm going to be sending out a release in the next week or so with our MC for this year, which is going to absolutely blow people's minds. It's going to be a great conference, and I think gold, it's time. So go and check it out, goldevents.com.au, register for the early bird, and then you can go and chat to Tony in person. But for now, Tony,
one final message to the audience.
Yes.
When doing a Zoom, Confucius say, always wear pants.
What a good way. Well, I am. I'm fully dressed. Tony might not be, but I'm like a good Boy Scout, always be prepared, or a Girl Guide in my case. Yeah. Tony, thanks so much, mate. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. See ya.